living here in Jersey, fighting villains from afar. You gotta find first gear in your giant robot car. You dig giant robots, I dig giant robots, we dig giant robots, chicks dig giant robots. Nice.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Anime Boomer Podcast. This is episode number 7, coming right on the heels of episode number 6. I know normally it takes us like half a month to actually get to the next episode, but Spooky had this wonderful idea, because it is the spooky season after all, that we would go and talk about some spooky, scary anime, video games, and all sorts of other assorted things that go bump in the night. Everybody knows who I am. I'm Gator, the guy that runs the show, the guy that presses the buttons, the guy that takes like a week to edit the podcast. The last one, it took like 3 weeks because it was literally 4.5 hours worth of stuff. It's just every episode with Cody. Love Cody. Cody's great. But for some reason, we just cannot stop talking on Cody episodes. It's a blessing and a curse. But I've already mentioned Spooky, so let me go ahead and introduce my co-host, Spooky Weep Trash. How you doing, Spooky?
Hi, this is the only time of the year calling yourself Spooky is inconvenience when people are trying to find you on Twitter.
That is true. I'm sure all of the trends are dominated by literally everything else.
Everyone has a spooky pun.
Everyone's copying your aesthetic.
Yeah, I'm the person who decided to call myself Spooky first. All you guys are just a bunch of posers.
Bunch of imitators.
Yeah, wannabe spookies.
Our guest for this episode is the YouTuber MarkAfterDark. Some of you guys that watch my show have come over from the other show, Killstream. Mark was on there. Last time I talked to Mark, it was during the Suzy Lu copyright striking fiasco.
Wait, there's lore to this? I didn't even know.
Yeah, there is lore to this. Mark was on the show talking about how Suzy Lu had like copyright struck his video.
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah.
Making fun of her?
Yes, actually,
That's
yeah,
funny.
it wasn't like, and she tried to claim that I was just re-uploading her material, and it was like so heavily edited because like if I could sum up my content, it's like Let's Plays that are like grossly over edited and come out only once a year. She saw herself in my video, I guess. I was kind of making fun of her, but in like the most like loving sort of like tap on the head sort of way. And she didn't like that. So she copy-striked the video, and then chaos ensued. And then I think it all culminated in me being in a call with Tipster, Nicholas Diorio, and Keemstar, and not Suzy Lu, but like her quote unquote lawyer boyfriend, trying to defend her
boyfriend. Yeah, he's weird.
Yeah, no, and she was definitely there. She was like literally in like behind him, like whispering shit into his ears. Like, she's walking the dog right now. She can't be here for this. That was fun. That was great. But she gave me back control over my video, so that's all I fucking care about, really.
That's all that really matters on YouTube is like, hey, please don't strike me. I don't want to strike.
Yeah.
Just tell me to take the video down if you have to.
I don't like compromising on like my vision for a video, even though they're just dumb, like funny like video game edits and stuff. But like, if she had just been a human being and came to me and said like, hey, I really didn't appreciate that joke, that actually really upset me, would you like be so kind as to take it down? And like with the YouTube editor, you can just remove sections of your video easily. I would have absolutely done it, but she had to be like such a fucking like weirdo about it. That's fun.
That's one way of putting it.
Yeah, one way. That's the kindest way I can fucking say.
Yeah, that saga, that was like a whole like 2 months worth of drama. So I remember we covered it on the Killstream. Like, I feel like it was a solid 2 months. There was something going on with like her copyright striking another video, or her whole like getting kicked off of YouTube for a little while or whatever, and then trying to build her own website.
Manga. or sorry, anime, like just re-uploading full episodes of like Bleach and Naruto, and then just kind of sitting there with their mouth agape, just breathing into the mic, like just watching.
Ichigo, no! Who the fuck
10 minutes.
is watching this and masturbating to a fucking Irish woman and mouth breathing to screaming in anime? That sounds like my fucking nightmare.
The amount of Sims that were running me down, it's like, just leave her alone, you beast. She fucked up my video. Like, there was no aggression from me. Like, what are you talking about? They're like, just leave her alone.
Like Queen Suzy, I live for your anime watching with me. It's so sad. I guess it's like the closest thing they have to like a girlfriend figure watching anime with them.
I wonder.
And shitty shonen anime on top of it. Like, what the fuck?
Oh God.
If you're gonna be trash watching trash, like at least have a little bit of taste, I guess. I don't know. I guess maybe I'm asking too much of
Get some
people.
culture, please.
Yeah.
At least watch Steins Gate. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I watched Death Note with an actual corpse of a woman. That's so much more high tier than what they're doing.
What?
What? So we're talking about spooky things, right?
Exactly. Yes, we are. I guess Suzy Lu is fairly spooky, so at least we're on the right wavelength.
I
They
don't know
say
how to
her
feel
forehead
about that.
never ends.
So I've had people tell me that I look like Suzy Lu, and I
No,
that is the
absolutely
worst.
not. But that is really funny that people would say that. Absolutely not, but that's funny.
I guess because we both have like similar face shapes and like the red hair thing going on. I do have a pretty massive forehead. I will.
Yeah,
take
but you
that.
don't have like a 12 head.
No, I don't
There
think
is a
so. No.
I love it when
I
they do
also
the
look like a
pixel-
girl version of Turkey Tom too. so
Oh
it's
God,
not
yeah,
bad.
I've seen that. That's so funny. Holy shit.
Turkey Tanya.
Teenage scene kid, Turkey Tom.
I thought Turkey Tom was a little teenage scene kid.
But it's just dialed up.
Just anyway, so scary stuff. So I didn't
Yes.
know. I the first thing I asked Mark if he wanted to come in the anime podcast was like, do you like anime? I didn't know. I asked him that.
Yeah, and then I responded with like some of it. Like I feel like I'm like the least candidate to be on this fucking podcast, but no, I mean like I think this is perfect because I love spooky things and in anime. So like I know we're gonna talk about other stuff too, but you know I love to dig into this.
Okay. What scary anime do you like watching, Marcus?
Like actually that's the crazy thing is like I was thinking about this last night, like scary anime itself, and it's like sorry. My God, who is she?
Oh, that's extra terrifying. Oh no.
Oh,
Like my
fuck.
fucking doppelgangers. Actually, it was so weird. I actually had to take a second glance at it. I was like, oh wait, hold on.
Wait a minute, is that me?
And unironically, I'd wear similar jackets to that, band t-shirts. It
Holy
just
shit.
it was a little bit striking when I first saw it. I was like, oh.
It's like the fucking Enemy, like the movie Enemy. IRL. You're just surfing Twitter and you find like you.
Yeah. It's literally me. I guess I did go to VidCon after all.
You're there in spirit.
It's like thinking about like scary anime. I actually can't recall a whole lot of like really actually like scary anime that I've watched. There was one show, but like for the life of me, I can't fucking pronounce it. I don't even know what the English translation of it. All I can do is describe it, which sucks. I'm sorry, but like I was even trying to look it up, but it's a series of short stories. In fact, I think every episode is only just like 5 minutes in length or something. They're
Are you
super
talking about Japanese folklore stories where it's like
Yeah.
scary modern day? Yeah.
yeah,
Funny how you just described that, and I was like, yeah, I know what this is.
yeah, because I think the premise to the show or the kind of like intro is a guy comes up in a wagon and like rings a bell and a bunch of kids come running and he's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna tell you some like scary stories." Apparently, this is something that they do in Japan. Although I don't know if it's the guy necessarily tells them spooky stories, but there's like it's almost like the Ice Cream Man. but like they're selling something, and that's the premise, and then it like leads you into the story. And there's apparently several seasons of the show. Only season 1 is good, but man, is it fucking good. Like, I think the final episode to season 1 like genuinely made me jump. There's like the fucking best, like it is a jump scare, but it is so earned. It's a really great show. I wish I knew what the fucking name was, but it's like, it's so hard to describe. I think it was releasing in like 2016 or something. But I can't think of any other really like horror anime other than like, you know, horrifying things happen in like Gantz and shit, or I feel like there's horror elements in a lot of anime, but I couldn't really think of like just a straight horror anime. It's more like
they tend to blend together. Like a great example is when you look at any list of horror or like supernatural whatever anime, one of the ones that always pops up on the list, even though it doesn't feel like it should belong, is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Because it does have vampires, it does have blood and gore, it is kind of a horror genre thing.
Yeah,
but I never thought of it that way, because it's a shonen.
Mm-hmm. They kind of forget about vampires when JoJo's introduced, but you know,
well, they replaced
whatever.
the vampires with punch ghosts.
Yeah, spooky punch ghosts.
Yeah, and then there's like the one season where they just have the straight up like the alleyway that like takes your soul.
Oh yeah, Diamond
whatever.
is Unbreakable.
Yeah, it's like, and that whole thing with like the little girl and the dead dog and stuff, like that entire fucking section is just like, it feels so, I would say it almost feels out of place, but like nothing's out of place in JoJo. It's like,
because it's supposed to be out of place, but makes sense at the same time.
yeah, it feels like such a genre shift, but that's JoJo, I guess. It's just constantly like switching genres.
We went from like spooky murder mystery, you know, and like ghosts to I'm gonna be the Hokage, mob boss.
Believe it. Fuck. I can imagine Jotaro or
Giorno.
Oh god, what's his Giorno? Yeah, running around saying "believe it" and fucking like arms behind his back, running around and shit.
How do you say "believe it" in Italian?
I think you
Oh,
just
I
do
have
transit hands. Please.
Believe it in Italian. Let's see.
Credici.
Credici. He's running, and by the way, like his hands are behind his back, like he's doing the Naruto run, but his like fingers are all pinched together.
And he's making pasta at the same time. Oh no, he eats pasta instead of ramen.
Oh god. Oh no.
He's got a bandana, but it's got the ladybug on it instead.
Oh god. He's just constantly wearing like a wife beater or like a fucking undershirt that's so sweaty. God.
And we just ruined part 5 for everyone.
Yeah, well, sorry.
one of the cooler things about JoJo in particular, and I guess they also did this with like the Final Fantasy 13, was like actually intertwine fashion, like actual fashion magazines and fashion brands, and had them wear the actual fashion. And I was like, that was cool because a lot of JoJo's aesthetics is based on Italian, European fashion models.
Oh yeah.
So, scary stuff.
Oh yeah, that's right. I can't think of much anime, and like it's so hard to. I was gonna like try to dodge around Junji Ito a little bit because like he's so prominent, but there was the Junji Ito sort of, what was it like? Well, I guess there was like that series, that TV show that was really bad, but there was like that one off about it's like Goro or whatever it's called, the fish, the like machines that attach themselves to fish and like invade like Earth and shit.
Oh yeah, that one was also not very good, if I recall.
No, yeah. So there's been that. So there's been like attempts at making Junji Ito stuff, but like you just can't fucking beat the novelization. The manga's so good.
I know that they tried adapting Spiral. I saw Adult Swim advertising it on Twitter.
Yes.
Don't know if that's out or not just yet.
No, it's supposed to come out starting in 2022 by Production IG in coordination with Toonami, I think.
I'm a little excited, but I want to try and temper that because the animation that they showed so far looks like incredible, but I don't know how it's going to translate. I believe in all these people that are working on this, but like, you know, I don't know. It's like when Denis Villeneuve, he's working on he did the sequel to Blade Runner, and he's doing Dune right now, which is out and shit. And it's just like both those movies. I'm like, these are like some of the best people in the industry are working on these like intellectual properties, but like you can still fuck it up. It doesn't matter if you get the best of the best; it can still not translate well. And I was like, I'm like very worried and optimistic. I thought like 2049 turned out really well and stuff, and I'm just remaining optimistic about like Uzumaki and Dune because it's like these are like all these things are kind of like have labels of like it can't be done. It just can't be done.
Well, the thing with Dune is like it would have worked better if it was like kind of like a Game of Thrones situation, because to me it's
series.
more of a series. It's more of a fantasy novel than it is just sci-fi, because it's more about these families fighting over power of like the spice. And you know, and everyone's like Lamau worms, sandworms, but sandworms kind of take second precedence over it because they kind of protect the spice and like the planet that it's hosted at. But it's way more about these families fighting over the power, because the spice is essentially like space crack. And
that's a good way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's this weird edit. I saw like a leaked clip where one of the worms, like you've seen like in the trailers, where the one big worm comes up and is facing Paul, and it's like kind of like nose to nose with them, and then Paul points up at it and he says Trump. That was really weird. I don't know why they did that. Sorry.
What?
I don't know. These damn SJWs are just fucking up my movies.
We're going to make Please Tell How to Rock great again. Believe me.
No, I'm just imagining like what they would do, like some people would do to Dune. Sorry. But like Uzumaki's got that label too, where it's just like you can't make this, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And I like from that Junji Ito like stories or collection series, one thing that I noticed is that like the images have to be just as powerful as they are in the actual source material. And another thing is like, and I think about this until somebody described it to me. I think it was like Super Eye Patch Wolf or something. That the tactile nature of like turning the page, like Junji Ito or reading any kind of horror manga especially, but I'd say especially like Junji Ito, is like the reading it off a website doesn't compare to actually owning a physical copy of it, because he's designed his panels in a way that like a page turn is a literal jump scare. There's like this massive buildup and it's always to a page turn, and there's something about actually physically turning that page over and being faced with like a fucking like a horrid nightmare fuel is really incredible. And it might be just reduced to like a simple cut frame jump scare and like a moving video and stuff. And they're also, as animators, going to have to translate like still images like to some of these fucking creatures and some of these fucking things, and it could be good or it could be really bad. I don't think it can be somewhere in the middle.
Well, you were talking about that page turn where you just see something and it just like scares the crap out of you. That makes me think of the book Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark that they made a movie of. Because I remember reading those books as a kid, and you'd flip that page and then you'd see like this horrid monster that just gives you nightmares for like a week.
Yeah, I love it. It's like every story had a single image, and what it would do is it would prime you, and it would just like put all these images in your head, and would prime you with all this shit and this buildup of like, this thing, and it's coming for the main character, and it's getting closer, and it's getting closer, and then you just like it reaches its apex, and then you flip the page, and the fucking thing in the story is staring you in the face now on like in your hands. It's like, it's so perfect. It's really taking the medium and doing the most with it. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's incredibly clever, and it's something I never really thought of until like recently because somebody else mentioned it.
It's something that we're losing in the digital age now because everything is scrolling. You're scrolling down, and I think it kind of takes it away a little bit because the other aspect of that is like where you're flipping the page and you see the thing. You know, if you're scared enough, you might close the book or throw the book. You know, and it kind of takes that away when you're on the computer. Yeah.
Like there's been those was this like Korean or was it Japanese? It's like those
the scrolling games where you'd like scroll down the page.
Yeah, those web comics.
Kind of animate a little bit.
Oh, there's one in particular about a lady like following a girl, and it's
yes. Oh my god, I remember that one. That scared the shit out of me.
I have a live reaction because I've only read those recently, and apparently they're like quite old or like older. And I was watching like somebody sent me a link for that, and I actually managed to record it. There's a video on my channel of like me reacting for the first time over to that webcomic. Really fucking good, and I love that it strangles control away from you too. It forces you to look. Because it's very different when you're scrolling on a website versus turning the pages in a book. But that made use of that like medium in a really good way.
Yeah, and it's not just like a typical like screamer, like like early 2000s like YouTube would just be like, follow this game, and it'd be like scream, aha, no, scared. No, it was a lot more of a build up to it because you didn't quite know. Like there was something following her. Yeah. But at the end, it's like you get to actually see it. Or it's also like
it's the Bongcheong-Dong ghost.
Yes,
that's.
I was also watching like it also like other pieces of animation like Western is I think one of the best cartoons ever made is Over the Garden Wall.
Yeah.
And even then, it has like scary stuff in it, but it's like it's so quick and so subtle. Where it's like if you're watching it on TV versus like watching it, like if you could just pause whenever. It's like if you're watching it live on TV, you can't pause it, so it sticks with you a lot more because you're like, "What the fuck did I just watch?" Yeah, and he's like revealing with the what's it called, the Woodsman? I think it's called the Beast. Oh, yes.
Yeah, it shows what it looks like for like a frame, and the first time I watched that, the best part was like your brain just kind of fills in the gaps, which makes it like just personally scary for you. Mm-hmm. But you like if you're watching it in like a VLC or some sort of like digital file or something, you can just like go back to the frame and check it out, and even then it's like, oh, that's pretty cool, but it doesn't, it takes away from the scary factor.
Yeah, because you have to it's so split of a second where you're like, what the fuck was that, like a tree man like deer thing, what
yeah.
Excuse me, what the fuck was that?
It's one of those things in animation that we're really not supposed to like look at frame by frame, like in-betweens or smears and stuff. It's like they're meant to just kind of be there so our brain just sort of like, melds it and does its own thing over it. And
like stuff. The one frame of porn in Fight Club.
Yes. Oh, God.
You're not meant to be able to pause it and go back and actually see it.
But I love that they're right. It's like it's there for a single frame. It's like, but you saw it and you know exactly what it was. It's like it's there like just long enough. I love the kid crying in the fucking theater. It's so funny.
Reminds me of OneyPlays.
Oh yeah.
Where they had like the smelly feet.
And they just like put it up really quick.
Yeah. I don't know if Gator knows what we're talking about. Do you watch OneyPlays, Gator?
I've seen the Oni cartoons, but I have never actually watched OneyPlays.
Oh god, the animations for OneyPlays are fantastic. I would recommend watching like the Sora Smelly Feet pirate one. It's so good.
See, after Game Grumps became pretty cringe, and Aaron tried to like distance himself from everything that he was, I just
from
kind
humor,
of like
too.
It lost all the humor. Yeah. I just kind of fell out of watching a lot of like Let's Plays and stuff because it's just like it killed it for me. And I say that as someone that likes to play and stream games online.
Dude, yeah, Chris O'Neill has like his own sense of humor that's super different from Game Grumps. I'd recommend I could send you some videos, but his sense of humor is so much sillier, but it's got like slight edge to it where it's like got that early Newgrounds humor.
See, I like that
humor. It's
love that
fantastic. It's literally everything that's missing from like current Game Grumps plus some, because they have their own style and editing to it, and like their fans are. I've never met one like OneyPlays fan that was an asshole. I met plenty of Game Grumps fans that were assholes and weird, but like all the
actually doxing people and shit.
Yeah, like all the Only people are fantastic. Like they've always been really nice to me, and I've heard Chris O'Neill's really nice. A lot of those people are nice. So
like I know friends of friends and stuff. And like no one has a fucking bad thing to say about like Chris or anybody who shows up on those shows and stuff. It's just like he's got a like lightning in a bottle, I think, in terms of like Let's Play channels. I think he honestly has like the best. I'd say like if second place goes to somebody, it'd be like Super Mega. They're really funny. Yeah. But like there's just something, I don't know, like there's just something fucking magical. You can catch like just a random episode or like just almost uncut upload to YouTube of like OneyPlays, and there's just something in there that's gonna make you laugh.
Or just like, like my favorite series they've ever done is just like them playing Kingdom Hearts, because I played Kingdom Hearts as an autistic child a lot, and they just take the absolute piss out of it. Where I'm just like, no one else can play Kingdom Hearts ever and make it as funny as they did. It's just it's perfect. It's like the perfect let's play, and I don't really say that very often.
No, they're like the fucking. There's a scenario where they're talking about Goofy being like an abusive father, and it just makes me like I will fucking quote that forever. Like
it's Goofy time.
He's like,
no, Dad,
Goofy.
No, it's funnier. It's like, oh, it's so great. He's like, hey son, you have to blare this. You'll
He's just bullying his son. Maxine's mine. It's like or his like his girlfriend, whatever her name was, is like she's mine. And then he invites like Mickey over, and then he calls him a. It's like I paid him to say that.
That's amazing.
Max, you little bitch. My little maxi pad.
Holy shit, I'm gonna have to check this out now for sure.
Fucking great. Ding Dong goes on like a fucking 10-minute rant about like abusive father Goofy.
He just smokes in Maxie's face and goes
blows smoke in his face. Just being like an abusive piece of shit.
You're the reason that mom left.
You're what killed her. Just no, it's fucking priceless. It's
I'll fucking gold. Do it again.
I'll do it.
It's great. Like they have their own like charm that is like impeccable to anyone else I've seen on YouTube, and it's like, I mean, we're around. I assume we're all millennials here, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And they make constant reference to like our childhood, so like a bunch of like Nickelodeon shows, cartoon shows, because that's the same stuff they love, and I assume you guys love too. But and they add that kind of sense of humor to their comedy too, and it's like the best improv I think I've seen since like Whose Line Is It Anyway? Like it's that great.
Yeah, and that's kind of like that, and I feel like that's what. If I had to say like Let's Play has to be a certain way or some shit, like obviously they don't have to all adhere to this, but I think the formula, like what works best, is this like kind of riffing nature. Like I've noticed that like I always call back. It's like almost every fucking review channel, like all the like Nostalgia Critic kind of and things that are like it, and the like something to Mystery Science Theater 3000, and that's kind of it. It's like you take the material and you just riff with it, you just roll with it, and you just kind of poke humor at it, and instead of just like blatantly ripping something apart, because I think comedy starts to die when you actually genuinely hate something. Like, have you ever like when you genuinely like something pisses you off and you're just kind of making
the feminist
jokes?
Type tier comedians that are like,
yes, 2016.
Yeah, it's
not even fun to make fun of Ghostbusters 2016 because it's just that bad, and it just makes you. It's off-putting. You're just like,
like I would like, what was it? James Rolfe was just like, I'm not going to review this because it looks like it's not for me, and people got so pissed at him. But like, yeah, he like the sight of it depresses him. He doesn't even want to make like jokes at its expense. It's just like, I'm just sad. Like I'm just like upset. And he knows, he's like, I'm not going to be able to turn this into jokes even. It's just like, I'm not going to be able to riff on this because I'm just going to be fucking sad while watching this. It's true. It's like, and even though they're like making fun of like Kingdom Hearts and other kind of games and stuff like that, you get a genuine sense that like they don't hate it. They're just kind of like they're just poking fun at it and stuff.
Well, like they all grew up playing like games like that too, and like I mean, it's still like it's that kind of another thing about their comedy that I like. It's like they do nostalgia in a very specific era, like I said, like kind of late '90s, early 2000s nostalgia, which not a whole lot of like reviewer types, I guess you want to call it, like James Rolfe types, really do that kind of era. They just grew up with like the 80s and 90s. Well, they have more of a specific time zone where it's like people that are more millennial age or early millennial age can more relate to, I guess. Yeah. And it's good. It's great.
Yeah.
But speaking of Let's Plays, we should talk about scary Let's Plays. Let's talk about PewDiePie and the bridge. How do you feel about that, Mark?
I'm be the first to say that I think he was right. And
wasn't he being a dick, actually, the guy that shot at him?
Well, no, that like, okay, actually, if we're talking like real game strategy and stuff like that, like, well, first off, PUBG's trash. It's a terrible game, but like, that bridge is super annoying to begin with, and that guy was being absolutely shit. Like, just so he had a right to get mad. It's just like he had a slip of the tongue. He slipped a little gamer in there. He had a gamer moment.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah,
that's where the term gamer words come from, right? It's because
yes, that is where
that actually is the origin. Yeah, he just had a gamer moment, guy.
I mean, it's true. I mean, like, and then these people were like trying to moral about it, like H3, but we don't have to get into that today. What we'll do is we'll talk about the rise of PewDiePie and like scary Let's Plays and kind of what Mark does nowadays.
Yeah, so pretty much.
Did you take a lot of inspiration from PewDiePie watching his stuff?
I'm not. I was one of the people that missed the whole PewDiePie train up until like recently, probably 2017 was when I started watching, or it's like 2016 or 17 was when I finally actually started watching PewDiePie. But like I did know him as the like playing Amnesia and like the funny Swede who scream real loud.
Barrels.
And like fucking with the barrels and stuff. Yeah,
bro, what are you doing, bro?
That's an incredible impression. That sounds like him.
Oh, thank you. I've watched a lot of PewDiePie.
Yeah, that actually sounded like him. I thought you had a fucking sound clip. Like, there's no way you could have gotten that fast enough.
Gator's a man with many talents. Oh, an actual alligator with many talents, should I say?
Yeah.
An alligator with opposable thumbs.
Yes. I could sit on a gaming chair for hours on him.
Yeah.
He just curls up on his tail and sits.
He has a nice light mister that sprays him, keeping him nice and like moist and cool. I missed out on the PewDiePie train back in the day, and like the big three, like Jacksepticeye, Markiplier. I kind of missed out on those guys, although I respect them all, even if like their content isn't really for me. I think like all three of those people seem like very genuine human beings, which is really a fucking rarity, that they're so big, and that like normally like there's so many fucking weird shady people on like YouTube. There's so much like trash humans like on YouTube, and then those three people seem like they're genuinely like decent people, even if I don't agree with them sometimes.
Yeah, I think the thing that really sets them apart was because they were so evolutionary that they, instead of being clout chasing retards, as I like to put it, they were the clout. They were like what made YouTube back in the day.
I am the hype.
Yes. They were the head honchos, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like they didn't have to like clout and like tear away. They just had to like make content. And I feel like that's the difference between a lot of shadier YouTubers, just like.
They're creating the trends instead of following them. and completely by accident. Like it's amazing how they just kind of do whatever the fuck they want, and it like always works, which is like incredible. Because as a YouTuber, if you chase trends, you're just gonna have a bad time. Like you'll eventually end up just making shit that you don't even like or care about. Like you're just gonna follow this like what works for the longest time. I think when I got my Let's Play channel off the ground, I actually had like, and I won't name names, but like I had a fucking YouTube advisor like walk me through what was like the best and what was going to work out, and like the things that you needed to do. And there's certain things like that you just have to do, but and it really worked for me. And like some of my videos were fucking blowing up, but I realized it just wasn't fun, and I can't keep doing this if it isn't fun. So like then my videos just started to kind of drop off of it, and I started uploading a lot less. But then I think Copa happened, or Kappa, and that like destroyed my fucking channel because I placed it under, it's like, yeah, I make some pretty adult jokes. I'll mark myself under 18 plus. And basically my view count got cut to like 25% of what it used to make.
Oof.
It's like, and like you can't reverse it either. It's just like, oh. But like, and the stupidest thing is I look at my analytics and it says like there's not a single person under the age of 18 watching me. So I was like, yeah, I'm clear. I'm fine. It's, I guess not.
But see, that's the trick to the YouTube algorithm, is that when you mark that 18 plus, it triggers something in the algorithm that suggests your videos less often to people, even the ones that are actually looking for your videos. So,
like, my subscribers aren't getting the. Yeah, my subscribers are complaining because they're just not getting any updates and they're not getting my videos. There's people tuning in and be like, "Holy shit, you uploaded like 5 times! I didn't notice until I clicked your page." It's like,
yeah. And even the suggestions on the sidebar after they've watched your video.
Yeah,
like it'll maybe have like one video of yours up there and like 100 videos from literally anyone else. Whereas other YouTubers that didn't do that, like most of the top like 5 or 6 videos are all like their content that you haven't watched.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Yeah, because I know we never marked ourselves on this channel to be like 18 plus or whatever. But even then, like YouTube just. Like, it sees the kinds of topics and the things that we're talking about. And they're like, oh, anime, that's kind of an adult topic, right? Which is weird because you wouldn't think so. But for some reason, and it does the same thing where it just, like, doesn't send out. Because I've asked people, it's like, hey, did you get a ping for this? And they're like, no. And I have, like, another account, like my normie account that's subscribed to the channel on a different device and everything, and I don't get the notification. That's usually how I know when something is wrong, because I won't get the notification on that device, and I'm like, I guess it didn't send it out to subscribers. Oh well.
Yeah, it's great. Love the site, doing good things.
We love Susan. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. Yeah.
And like, to add insult to injury, like the whole Kappa thing only happened because of the Elsa Gate, which was like every YouTuber was screaming at people working at like YouTube headquarters to like do something. It's like, you need to stop this. Like, there's like rampant like pedophilia on this site. Like, do something. And they just refused until like it went legal. And they're like, it's like punishing us for like their fucking mistakes. It's just horrible. Sorry, we were talking about spooky stuff. Sorry, I went on a fucking tangent rant.
We're talking about PewDiePie in particular.
PewDiePie, well, like scary Let's Plays and like gaming videos and stuff like that. Like, that's kind of my bread and butter now, is that I realized that like Spooktober is a thing that I only do once a year, but it's really fun. I love playing horror games, and I genuinely get fucking really scared while playing horror games. I mean, if they're good. Like, I'll be harsh if they're not, but I think it's been working out for me better than anything else on my channel, and I love it. And I love watching other YouTubers play like horror games and stuff. At least when they're not like, it's the really cringe, over-exaggerated like reactions, like this. Yeah, they're like, bro, my game is haunted, bruh. Like,
Creepypasta.
Like,
oh shit! It's Ben! Oh no, it's Ben!
Oh no, it's Ben drowned. He's in my hard drive. He's looking through my files.
Oh no, he found my private folder. Oh shit.
Oh no, he found my itchy folder.
My itchy folder. Oh god, anime titties everywhere.
Oh no, not that. Anything but that.
Oh my god, Ben Drowns is doxing me.
He posted my dick pics to the internet.
God.
Ben Drowned is the real pickle man.
Oh fuck. Well, like, do you guys actually have any kind of favorite like creepypasta or something?
No, I do. I'm sorry.
They're mostly bad.
Look. I'm a girl. I like real horror. I like true crime shit. So, like, oh, Squidward's eyes were bleeding out of his socket.
Okay, see,
and those are. He said, "God is dead. God is dead."
See, those creepypasta aren't that good. Like, the ones that are, like, based on another property aren't that great. Like, no, I don't think Sonic EXE is that good. I don't think Ben Drown was that good. If You See Her Turn Off the Game was kind of neat from a conceptual standpoint, but it wasn't really that great of a creepypasta in general. The ones that I like are more of, like, the ritualistic side. There was one where it was about, like, if you're driving on, like, a certain road at night and you, like, see this exit and it, like, goes through, like, because I kind of liked the Holders series, at least at the very beginning, before it became cringe. Kind of like the SCP before it became cringe.
Yeah.
There's this one, like, I really like the aesthetic of liminal spaces because they do kind of, like, if you guys don't know what that is, if you guys are listening, it's kind of like, have you guys seen, like, Yeah, have you seen, like, old abandoned malls, like, or old abandoned hotels that looks like they smell bad and they have, like, really crappy fluorescent light? That very specific kind of, like, I feel like I've been here.
You think about it, and you can hear the buzzing of the fluorescent lights in your head.
Yeah, that's cool to me. I don't like the creepypasta made out of liminal spaces, which is, like, the back doors. That shit's fucking lame. Oh, you go through the back door, and then there's a creepy monster chasing you, and then you go through another door, and then there's another creepy monster, and then you go through another creepy door, and you have to go to the sewers, and then there's another creepy monster after. It's fucking lame, dude.
Yeah. You don't need a creature there. Just being stuck. Imagine, like, actually, there was even, it was like, I think there was, like, a short film on YouTube. And it was what do you call it? It's actually a machinima, so it's actually, like, all done in a video game, but, like, the graphics look decent enough that it kind of tricks your brain. And it's supposed to be like chest cam footage of a police officer who enters a building for, like, a wellness check, and then he, like, I guess there's, like, just a fucking, like, portal in this guy's, like, this abandoned house, and he, like, falls through it, and he's just, like, in a liminal space. And, like, that's creepy. And he's just walking around. It's just endless corridors and hallways.
Yeah,
and, like,
that's cooler to me than having to go through a door and then you're chased by a monster and you have to survive.
It ends with him getting chased by a fucking monster. And it's just like, oh no, it's not good. It's like just the space alone and the emptiness of it. And, like, even just the idea that you might not be alone is enough. You don't actually have to play your card. You don't have to show anything. That's what's creepy about it.
Yeah.
Liminal space is frightening in its own weird way, but, like, don't overdo it. Don't fuck it up.
The best part of it is its subtlety, and it's, like, the whole, like, nostalgia of, like, I feel like I've been here too. Because you feel like you've been in those old crappy hotels, or you've been in, like, weird spaces, but they're all empty. And it's that kind of familiarity, but also, like, unease they bring to you that I like that. I like that touch of reality. But most of the time, creepypastas are like, and then my computer screen started bleeding. Ooh! Yeah, it's fucking lame.
I think technically that falls under the description of uncanny, the uncanny valley, or like that. Because it takes something familiar and alters it in a way where it's like it's like, because I think the root word was, like, German, it's like unheimlich or something, which is like it means home, but, like, threatening. It's like the idea of something that is supposed to be safe and familiar but is wrong in some way. It's like tainted. So like those images of like, don't you remember this? And it's like a school, and it's like a hallway of a school or something, and your brain goes like, you were here in a weird way, because it looks so familiar to like the school hallways that you used to walk, but there's just like something off about it. It's not a real memory. It's not a real place. It's like things like that, and it tricks your brain, and it like kind of frightens you. It kind of scares you in a little weird way. And there's nothing inherently frightening about it. That's what's so like great about it.
Yeah, you really hit the nail on the head. And you can imagine the smell too. It probably smells like mold.
That musty ass and the fucking fluorescent buzz.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's got some, you can picture the texture. Your brain fills in the gaps. And that's what's scary about it, because it's personally scary to you.
I really like that, but yeah, I don't know. So creepypastas, I mean, everyone wants to be like H.P. Lovecraft, and they're shit. They're fucking shit at it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just going through the list of like classic creepypastas on the Creepypasta wiki, like I see some of the ones that I remember. Like Candle Cove is probably one of the most famous, because it spawned that television series on Sci-Fi Channel Zero, where they went through like 4 different creepypastas and kind of like took away the essence that made them what they were and hollowed them out for television.
Yeah.
You know what's really cool though? I really like ARGs. They're done well.
I love ARGs. Cool. Did you do the one for Halo, the I Love Bees?
No, but I watched, she's like one of my favorite YouTubers ever. Her name is Atrocity Guide. She's fantastic. She went through the story of it, and her voice and the way she the way she narrates is just perfect. But like, yeah, I think that they're very clever, especially if they're well written, and like you have to like get people's attention in a way that it's not super obvious. So it's getting that initial people's attention that I find really interesting in the way he progressed through a story. I really like him.
Yeah.
What was that one that was on YouTube that was really popular? It was
Lonely Girl 15.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. That was an interesting ARG conceptually. Marble Hornets was another one that I remember that really kind of like brought Slenderman and made him like infamous on the internet.
It is funny how those guys who were just like a couple of guys who got together and wanted to make like something inspired by Slenderman. Like Slenderman's already a thing, but I think they really like those guys alone almost cemented like the entire fucking lore behind Slenderman.
Yeah,
in a weird way.
And it was just like a thing. He was just a post on something awful and just an image.
Yeah. Which is kind of fucking incredible when you think about it. And everything else that came after was just kind of like imitation. It's really weird how an adaptation of something turned out the way it did. And then the fucking it's so funny. When they came out with the Slenderman movie, and the cast from Marble Hornets went to go watch it, and they were just like, "Ooh, what the fuck?" Like they were so like disappointed, and they're like, and they tried to do some things that and they were embarrassed. They're like, they tried to like do shit that we came up with, and it just did not work. Like they were taking bits of like the lore that they came up with and whatnot, and tried applying it, but like absolutely stumbled and like spilt their spaghetti everywhere.
It's like being good. George Lucas and walking into the new Disney Star Wars and being like, "What have they done to my baby?"
Oh, my baby. What have you done?
What have you done?
That's another thing Chris O'Neill does. It's a great George Lucas, and his George Lucas just sounds more like a whiny baby version. He's like,
yeah, he's just like, I want Jar Jar.
I want Jar Jar.
I want Jar Jar to be a Jedi.
Oh yeah, I'll have to send you some great OneyPlays clips after this, Gator, and you could just binge watch it. It's great.
For sure. I love having something on to listen to while I'm like grinding through Destiny 2.
I have to keep OneyPlays on every time I wake up in the morning as a routine, because I'm just like, I need something to laugh at and keep on as I'm waking up in the morning, because I'm not looking forward to work, so it just gets me going, you know? But speaking, let's see, of movies, what's your favorite Halloween movie?
My favorite Halloween film?
Like something that you keep on, or in the Halloween, or maybe multiple films that you just get you in the Halloween spirit.
I like okay, I'll just have to like Rolodex through them. The Thing for sure.
That's a good choice.
I love Among Us.
Derailed. That's my favorite movie. Among Us. Actually, what's it called? Trick or Treat is a great.
Trick or Treat
I love
is great.
I'm a huge fan of anything that's horror anthology. So I really like the VHS series. I actually did a fan edit where I took like the best tapes or the short stories and then compiled them together from like the first two films. Because like, unfortunately, some of those films are not good. Like some of them are just like actually fucking bad. So I ended up taking like the best ones and then making its own film. I'm actually going to be watching that with the patrons later today. That's why I'm like my time schedule and stuff. But so VHS series, pretty good. It's kind of it's a mixed bag, but it's good when it's really good. Specifically, the tapes called Amateur Night, which I think is the very first tape in the very first film, and then I play a tape called Safe Haven. That's the last tape from the second film. Are like hands down some of the greatest short horror films I've ever fucking seen. Like genuinely fucking terrifying. Especially that first one, Amateur Night. It is like, and they have to come up with a clever way of like, it's all found footage. So it's like they have to come up with clever ways in which this is all being filmed. And it starts off with like a bunch of frat guys, and they're basically gonna go hit the bar on like a Saturday night, get a bunch of girls drunk, take them back to a hotel and have sex with them. But the guy has spy glasses on that has like a tiny like little like SD card in it, and it records everything that they're doing. And it just looks like normal glasses. And so they're going to record it and make amateur porn and stuff like that. And I don't know whatever they're going to do, whatever the fuck they want with that later. But that's the premise. But they go out to the bar, and the guy who's wearing the glasses is kind of like out of his element. He's kind of like, these are his friends, but he's like, they're kind of clearly like using him. He's kind of like nerdy. And this girl like gets really attached to him. And the guys see that and they're just like, yeah, you should come back with us. And it like, without saying what happens next, is like there's something very severely wrong with this girl. And they're like, and they get like back to the hotel room and it gets really fucking crazy. But you should definitely see it if you haven't seen it so far. It's fucked. I love, I think, short form horror or short film horror films, like especially because I think even actually this is my criticism with a lot of fucking horror games too, is that you spend too much time in this world or in this horror setting and it starts to become dull. Like right. You need to get in, even if it's a slow burn horror film, like you can't be in that for too long. And I think sometimes horror films actually, the biggest problem is that you're just there for too long. Even an hour and 30 minutes is like too long in the setting sometimes. Mm-hmm. And that's what I love about short horror films and anthologies, especially because also there's a thing that you'll notice though, like anthology, is that the characters are completely void, like in the sense that they can die. And the ending could be that every character just dies because they can take that chance, because there's like this sunken cost fallacy that comes with watching a full-length feature film, where if the ending is that all the characters die, you go, oh, what a piece of shit, what a ripoff. But if you watch like a 30-minute film where all the characters die in the end, you go, wow, that was pretty good. That was ballsy.
Right.
Well, especially if they really get you invested in the characters. Like I remember Trick or Treat, each was kind of like a individual story, but it was all set in the same town, in the same little part of the town. And all the characters all in the same night, all the characters like crossed over with each other. So it kind of gives you that a little bit more emotional investment. So when like characters die, you're like, oh, that was cool.
Yeah. I think that's why I really like Trick or Treat, because it may be like the antithesis of anthology horror and like short form horror, because it still has that connecting thread story. And actually, you'll notice that if you watch like the VHS series, it tries to connect all the films in some weird way. It's bad. It's not good. It's like, it's an attempt. It's literally just like with the first film, it's a bunch of people break into a house and there's a dead guy sitting in front of a bunch of TVs and there's a bunch of unmarked VHS tapes. And then they start playing them. And when the movie stops, like the tape stops, like the short horror film, it cuts back to the main plot. And they're slowly getting killed off. The people in the house, they're slowly getting killed off one by one. And it turns out the guy in the chair, he's a zombie. Oh no. And like, it's not good. It's like, it's like, you know, there's an attempt. And I like that when they try to at least connect all the tapes in some way, or there's some sort of like cohesive narrative. But sometimes it can hurt. It can hurt the film and stuff. But like Trick or Treat is like perfect in that. And then it's like, it's a cohesive story, but it's like these little vignettes that are happening with individual characters, and they all connect in some way. Like one character who's like a villain in his own little vignette gets his comeuppance in a completely different storyline. It's like, it's crazy. I love it.
Oh yeah, you mean the what was he? The principal or
dad?
Whatever?
Yeah, the principal dad or like that, who's like a secret serial killer.
Yeah.
And he's talking to his son. It's like, this is how you kill a person, son, and this is how you bury the body. And he's like, it's really weird. And then that story ends, and then another picks up, and then he shows up, and like, I don't want to spoil too much in case people haven't seen this movie, but like some horrible thing comes about, and it like kills that person. And it's like, holy shit. And like, you didn't expect that character to show up in the other story, even though
you really didn't expect them to get like immediately murderlated.
Yeah. And in fact, actually, him showing up in the plot makes you afraid, because you know he's a serial killer by this point. And you're like, oh no, he's gonna kill somebody else. He's gonna kill like another character, probably, because now he's in like somebody else's story. And like, that fucking twist is so goddamn good, where like the hunter becomes the hunted. It's so fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Yeah, for Halloween, I love watching Trick or Treat.
And this is kind of the problem with a lot of like modern horror movies, is that I love the original. I love the original Saw, yeah. But Saw has completely ruined the horror genre, because every horror movie now goes for cheap pops rather than like the more like emotional sort of like atmospheric horror. That's why I liked God, what is that movie? The name's escaping me. Where it's like, you don't make a sound or whatever.
Quiet Place?
Quiet Place, yes. That's why Quiet Place is so great. Because it takes that atmospheric horror and dials it up to 11. Like, it's, because you're in the theater and I feel like the best way to watch it is in the theater. Because you're like, there, and there's like, it's just so quiet in the theater. You, like, the only thing you can really hear is like the air conditioning. And then it's just like this when you hear the sounds, it just hits you. And then everything just goes to hell. It's so good. And the second one was also really good too. It wasn't as good as the first, but rarely are the sequels.
Well, that's another huge thing with horror films, is sound design is king, really, over almost anything else. And that I've noticed that horror films are so much more effective with a good sound design. And that movie was like, especially like, let's take that to its natural conclusion, where like the most threatening thing in this movie is any noise whatsoever.
And then your heart just sinks whenever you hear it, like, ugh. No.
Yeah, because you'll even notice that with regular horror films where there's too much soundtrack. I fucking hate the intrusive soundtrack. Yeah, like somebody literally taking their cat's claws and running them down violin strings or some shit. It's like as a soundtrack, and like that might work in some films, but like it gets so old so quickly. And you'll notice in horror films, it's like it'll be so loud and heavy with the soundtrack until the jump scare is about to happen, and then everything cuts. and everything's quiet and there's not a sound, and then it hits you. But A Quiet Place it's all fucking quiet. So you don't know what to expect, and you're on guard almost the entire fucking sit through, which is really clever. I actually like that.
Speaking of atmosphere, one of my favorite atmospheric games is Silent Hill.
Oh,
yes. Oh, fuck yeah.
There's nothing quite like Silent Hill. That's why it was so special when it first came out. I'm sure there's other video games that tried, recapturing it, but they were like these small group of Japanese developers were like, let's make a game that's not just like, because their direct competitor at the time was Resident Evil, right? And Resident Evil, like, it's a horror game. It's more of an action game. Let's be for real. So their direct competitor was this big action game, and pew pew, go shoot, and they're like, this medium, especially because it was so new with like everything being 3D and you could walk everywhere. Let's just make a super fucking creepy ass, like almost like a liminal space in a way, if you want to compare it to that. Silent Hill, where it could be literally anywhere in America, and it's just covered with fog and you can't see in front of you, and you just know that this guy's looking for his daughter, and everything's off when you get there. That
there's, I don't know what it is about, especially when like the Japanese, it isn't even just specifically the Japanese, but like because I've seen other like Asian cultures do this too, although it's like almost always Asian cultures, but they have this huge obsession with like Americana, like American culture, and they come over and they'll spend like a month in the Pacific Northwest or some shit, and then like that's what Team Silent did, where they spent a whole shitload of time in like the Pacific Northwest and took 1 billion photos and stuff, and then they ran back to Japan and then made Silent Hill. And there's this weird thing where I think this goes into like a form of that uncanny valley, which again I think plays into what you're saying about liminal space as well, where they take what's familiar to us and twist it in a way, and it's not quite right even before things get really fucking scary and like the other world comes about and everything. Is that there's just something like so wrong about everything. Like I think it's actually funny that like the first Silent Hill game, the school is a spitting image for the school from Kindergarten Cop. They literally just copy pasted. Yeah, it's actually incredible if you look at it. Most of the references for the school is Kindergarten Cop, and it's really strange. So like if you ever watched that as a kid and then played Silent Hill, you will have this like this tiny little voice in your head is going like, it's like, this seems really familiar when you're at the school. It's like, I don't know. I thought that was incredible. It's like they consumed so much American media when making Silent Hill, and they really wanted to translate that across. And because it's like it's a foreign thing to them, it feels like it's an interpretation of America in a way. And that's, again, I think plays into what's unsettling about Silent Hill and those like quiet moments before like the horror actually shows up.
Well, it's just places that you recall, places that you remember, and so you're walking through them and you have this memory, this recollection that just like nags at the back of your head as you're going through here, and it helps to really kind of it helps with the atmosphere too, because not only are you going through this space that you remember, but you're going through this space you remember in like Hell World version of it.
Yeah, where the walls are literally skin.
Oh god, I remember playing that for the first time when I was a kid, and me and my brother like we had our PlayStation and we were in a dark room and we were playing that shit, and like the first time it went to the other world and like the ground turned to like rusted grating and there was like fucking skin walls and shit. Me and him were shitting ourselves because we're like, we know we've been here. This is the same hallway that we just walked through, but it's like fucked and it's different, and it was fucking with us so bad. Like we were genuinely so terrified.
The music in it is so fucking immaculate too. Like holy shit, because it's like during that scene when it turns to rust, everything's quiet. There's no music, and then as soon as it turns to rust, it almost sounds like a up heartbeat mixed with like, is that literally sounds like anxiety, and it's so fucking good.
Sound design playing its like hugest role, I think, again in horror. I think it's incredibly important that there's a thing in filmmaking where it's like what, like when it comes to like the tier of what's most important, like we're such visual creatures, like human beings, like we're so visual, and we instantly think that the image is probably like the most important thing, but it's like the least important thing. And sound design is always kind of king. It's always above it. And I'm saying this as like a cinematographer. It's like, unfortunately, I have to admit that sound design is more important than cinematography. But like that is also dialed up to 11 when it comes to anything horror related, is that sound gets to us on such a more visceral level than I think even like imagery. Although imagery is very strong and can totally stand on its own. Like you can show somebody a still image, you can send to them in the DMs on Twitter, and they open that shit and it can genuinely terrify them. But like, the sound of like very realistic sound of like just playing a sound clip of somebody like scratching on the other side of their door or something like that will fuck with you so deeply. And like the sound of somebody full tilt running at you or something, just audio of that shit will fuck with you
or just
so
the
bad.
sound of something like banging in the distance and then banging a little closer and then banging a little closer and then it sounds like it's right outside your door. Because
you guys ever, if you, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
But I was just going to say that real quick that I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that you can close your eyes when you see something scary, but you can't really turn off your ability to hear. Mm-hmm. So even when you're like scared in the theater and you like cover your eyes, you know, you're still hearing the movie, you're still hearing these sounds. And I think that contributes to why great sound design can make or break a horror film.
Well, even if you watch like those like ghost hunter shows, even though, you know, I think a lot of them are, you know, probably bullshit. Like the thing that scares people the most is being alone and then thinking you're hearing footsteps. It might just be like it being an old ass building and it crackling, because that's what buildings do. They make tink noises and all that kind of stuff. But it fucking with your head enough to where it even sounds vaguely like a person in the same room as you. Really fucking scary.
It's I think it's really something that's kind of important, and because I think I was mentioning before we started the call or we started recording, is like this horror film that I saw very recently, or it was last night, and it was really, really fucking bad, and it was really trying to be scary, and one of the worst aspects of it was like the sound design. It just killed. It's like this movie actually had a moment where it really was getting scary. Sorry, the movie is called it's a Thai horror film from 2017. It's called The Promise, or I think the alternate title is Corpse the Promise. Like it's got a really interesting premise, and it like the first 30 minutes of the film is the year is 1997, and there's two schoolgirl best friends. They might even be like a little bit more than friends. It's kind of slightly implied that who really care about each other, they're both have wealthy families, but there's like a massive financial crash that happened in like 1997 for Thailand, and basically they go from like rich upper middle class to poor as fuck overnight. Like all of their money and assets are like liquidized, and they make a suicide pact because their lives are kind of like essentially ruined. Like their futures and their prospects are like gone, and they think that their lives are over. So they go to this like half-built apartment building that they're like one of their fathers was building, and they make a suicide pact, and they're like, we're gonna kill ourselves. And then the friend puts a gun in her mouth and blows her brains out in front of the other, and she's supposed to take the gun and finish herself off, and then she just runs away. And it cuts to like 2017, she's an adult, and then it's just like she has a daughter who's the exact same age she was when this happened, and they go to the building because she wants to buy it, because it's like she has like horrible but fond memories of this building, and she wants to secure the building and redevelop it. And through some means, her daughter gets possessed by her old friend, and she wants her to finish the quote unquote the promise and kill herself. It's like, that sounds like a great concept for a horror film.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was thinking that. Sounds amazing.
Yeah, absolutely botched after like the fucking first like 40-minute mark. Absolutely fucking botched. It is the most melodramatic, like, cry fest movie I've ever seen. The soundtrack is like this sweeping, like, please cry while watching our movie, and like sad piano every.
Please clap, please cry.
It's like they play the same sad piano song ad nauseum repeatedly like 6 times in the span of like 10 minutes. And I'm like, oh my God. And it's like the acting is so melodramatic. And then when you get to the conclusion, we were just actually fucking laughing. Some of those like batshit stuff happens. It's like in bad CG, like a person falls off the building, and their body is CG, and it's like, and they're not actually falling. They just minimize, like they like shrunk their body to make it look like they were falling away. It's like, no. It's like, so no matter how good, and I bet you this script looked amazing. Like, I bet you I told you the beginning concept, and that is fucking solid. That's a good movie concept right there. But the execution, abysmal. And that can be the problem. But again, sound design was also a huge problem with that. Also objects not making the sounds that they should. Like, a kettle is going off in like the kitchen. It's like, ooh, somebody, like, she wakes up the first night that her daughter's like possessed, and her entire apartment is like torn apart. And the kettle is on the boil, and it's already boiling, but then she sees something creepy and she gets closer to it, and then the kettle starts making that like whistling sound. It's like, it wouldn't make that. It makes absolutely no sense. It's already boiling. Why did it just choose this moment to start like little shit like that? It's like really conveniently dumb. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Don't do that.
It's kind of like a continuity error, because they shouldn't have had it boiling until, you know, she was approaching the thing or whatever.
Yeah, it's just like, and that is a tiny little nitpick or like that. But when there's like, I swear to God, there are like 50 examples just like that throughout the course of the film, and it just makes you kind of like, it keeps taking you out of it. And there's really funny shit, like, this is a bit of a spoiler, but the mom gets so fed up that she's like, fine, fuck it, I'll kill myself. And she like puts a gun in her mouth and tries to pull the trigger, and like it doesn't go off, and like somehow the ghost is like stopping the bullets from firing, and then the ghost appears in front of her, and then she tries shooting the ghost. It's so fucking stupid. It's like, and then the gun conveniently works whenever the plot needs it to, or it doesn't work. It's like, and then, oh fuck, this is amazing. She goes, okay, you won't let me kill myself? Fine. And she drives over to the ghost's mom's house and puts a gun to her head and says, I'll fucking kill your mom, man.
I'll fucking do it.
I'll do it. And she proves that the ghost is there by grabbing her friend's ashes and then smashing them against the wall, and then you see the silhouette of a person that isn't like ashen. And
okay.
it, like, to prove that the ghost is standing right there or some shit. And it's really funny.
Not your friend's ashes. Is that okay?
Yeah, and then she's like, "Oh fucking do, I'll kill your mom." And then she doesn't, because she's not like that horrible, but she is like also a horrible person. It is a great. It's hard to get your hands on because it was a Netflix exclusive, and then they ripped it off, I think, like months later. I found a torrent of it, but it's kind of hard to get your hands on it. But like, if you want a good fucking laugh, you want to see like a horror film, like absolutely like drop the ball, it's really good for that. At least I think I'm just gonna upload clips to Twitter because it's so worth it.
That seems like something that would be fun to watch with Kino Spooky.
Maybe.
Oh yeah,
let's see what he has to say about it.
Yeah, just the kind of like you get drunk and take the piss out of a movie kind of movie.
Actually, me and him and a couple of other friends, we're gonna watch Tokyo Gore Police, which is also another, like, it's fantastic with how stupid it is, like one of those kind of things. With the name Tokyo Gore Police, it's literally just gore fest. So
yeah, at least it's owning it. It's like, it's just kind of like I don't know. It's like so
schlock.
over the top
Yeah.
and schlock. Yeah, but it's owning it. That's cool. I admire that.
I haven't seen it since like high school. But if I remember correctly, there's like some weird disease going on, and then there's like this cop lady who's like a cop samurai, and she kills random Japanese people with with the highest of blood pressures to where it's like a fucking fire hose coming out. And then at one point, this girl gets her lower half cut, and then she turns into this giant teeth vagina monster that eats men. So yeah,
I think I've seen that clip of the teeth vagina monster.
It was posted over at 4chan, the internet, back in the day. But it's fun with how stupid it is. Yeah, but I do like schlock from time to time. Not everything has to be like a perfect 10 out of 10 movie. But I will say the best horror movie I've seen. It's probably one of the best movies I've ever seen recently. I watched it. It was the Witch or the Witch.
Oh yeah, no, I love that. Edgar Wright. Sorry, not Eggers. Robert Eggers. There.
Same guy who made The Lighthouse, which is like his. Oh, you were talking about atmosphere. I think he's like a king. God with it. Yeah, he's a king of atmosphere.
And I really, really appreciate his attention to detail when it comes to historical accuracy and stuff, because he really but he cares, I think, the most about making you feel like you're there, and he does that in spades. Yeah, like the Lighthouse, especially. Yeah, but even the Puritan era America,
the dialect, it was so thick, I had to turn on the subtitles so I could understand what they were saying.
Yeah. I remember people getting pissed in the theater when watching that. They were mad, because they saw newest horror film and they brought their girlfriend there, and they're all speaking ye olde English, and they're I can't repeat what this guy said, but it's like, yo, what's this guy saying? And throwing his popcorn at the fucking screen and shit.
What a Neanderthal.
No, actually, there's been a few movies that I've gone to where somebody wandered in and they wanted to see what was their idea of horror films is the Conjuring universe.
Oh, and, so normies?
Yes. And they bring their girlfriend because they're kind of just there to make out, yeah. Probably, yeah. And that happened 3 times, and it was when I saw It Comes at Night. People were booing at the end of the movie because they're like, yo, it never came at night. What came at night? It's they were mad that there wasn't it wasn't a zombie apocalypse movie. Witch and Hereditary. The second time I saw Hereditary, people were the movie ended, and then the first time I saw Hereditary, there was fucking 6 of us in that theater, and we were all so hyped. The movie ended, and I turned to somebody sitting 6 rows back. I was like, you see that shit? And they were like, yeah, that was fucking crazy. And we both loved it. And then the second time I saw it in theater, it was a little bit more crowded, and then some guy was laughing during the entire ending sequence. Mm-hmm. And it's and I get it, even the director says himself, he's yeah, this might seem silly to some people, what happens, but yeah, some people were just not having it, not at all.
This is why I avoid movie theaters. Or if I do want to go to a movie theater, I'm just the nostalgia aspect of it. I haven't gone to a movie theater in 2 years since the pandemic happened. And I'm just nothing but crap is showing. Why even go?
You mean that you're not going to get a nice big tall bucket of popcorn and a large drink and sit down to watch your favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, Spooky?
I can't wait for Eternals. It's going to be so good.
Eternals is going to be a paradigm-shifting movie, just not in the way that they're hoping.
Is it they reset? Are they doing something like the Marvel comics where they reset every so often so people can come in and watch?
Probably going to do that.
I mean, I think they're going to do that, but I don't think Eternals will be that movie. Eternals is essentially the one of the gravest sins in all of cinema, and that's they're doing a prequel movie to explain where these characters came from in doing so in a universe that's like 40 movies in already. So
Yeah.
oh, and it has the added benefit.
Lame.
It has the added benefit of being the super multicultural diversity squad.
Yeah.
And that is one of the selling points of the movie, how diverse the cast is.
Are the Chinese gonna like it? Because that's the only thing that's gonna determine it's a hit or not. That's how fucking stupid these movies are. If the Chinese like it, then it's golden. If they don't, then it's trash.
Remains to be seen how China will respond.
I mean, did they have a black bit character in the main cast? That person
I
sure
think
isn't
so.
going to be on the poster. In China, at least.
He's gonna be the most minimized fucking one on the poster.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hell.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing is like, aren't they aliens? I like that, like but they still got the diversity of an after school special. all these aliens were like, yeah. I mean, like, who got dibs on white? It just like what an asshole. I wonder why he picked them. Jesus. My God.
Yeah, I mean, like, I will say, like, aliens at the movies and even games are usually like the most bastardized, like, monster thing that's ever been made, because it's like people make aliens half the time to want to fuck them, and they don't make them like something scary and like you can't like even imagine. That's why like H.P. Lovecraft and actual alien movies, that's what they get right, is their actual alien design. And you know, then you have like Mass Effect that just like, we're gonna make them blue and she's gonna have a blue pussy, you're gonna fuck that blue pussy, it's gonna
Report
be
to the
fucking
ship.
great.
We'll bang, okay?
We'll bang.
Yeah, it's I don't know, a lot of alien designs are just lame. They're lame.
Like even the ship's AI ended up being like this absolute like buxom babe or something like that. Like the body it chose was like this like double stacked. Like, it's just like it's so strange. It's like, I love it though. Like it's like somebody they're like, oh, I'm gonna make my own sci-fi universe. And it's gonna be like the best of Star Wars and like Star Wars extended universe shit, Star Trek blatantly, but it's just gonna be like the horny meter is just gonna be dialed up to 11. Like, you can basically fuck like every character.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Commander Shepard, and I'm going to suck and fuck my way across the galaxy.
God.
Me and Gator, we just watch anime and play video games in our spaceship that we're on right now. I don't know if we'll have the drawings, and we're trying to actually make the spaceship happen.
Yeah, we've been talking about this since like episode 1, that we want to have like this cool overlay of like us on a spaceship, and you know, to kind of like riff on all of our favorite animes from back in the day, and Megas XLR and Gundam and Captain Harlock, Battleship Yamato, all that fun stuff. Eventually we'll get there. I actually have the very terrible sketches sitting on my desk over here that I drew. I'm gonna send it to one of our like friends who does like art and stuff to get that drawn up. So that'll be fun when all that's done.
Yeah, then we'll have lore on the Anime Boomers podcast.
Right, we'll have fucking lore, yeah. Because we're autistic, remember?
I'd say big dick movies. You just steal Angry Joe's ship design interior. You just take it. You literally just copy paste it. Be like, yeah, this is our new ship. What do you think, guys?
Just draw over Angry Joe in like MS Paint. And that's the background.
Don't even do that. Just put a giant scribble. And it still shows him, but just enough.
Yeah, and in the background is an Easter egg. There's just a shrunken dwarfen version of like Angry Joe, who's just like a squished like JPEG of him.
And then you put like
in the background.
You put like the nostalgia critic creepypasta they drew on OneyPlays as a poster in the back.
This is a cool ship. This is a cool ship.
He's always watching and always waiting to review movies. Okay. Is there anything else we need to talk about? Because we're going to keep this relatively short because we know Mark is a busy boy.
Yeah, I will have to go in the next like a couple I'd say like 10 15 or sorry 15 20 minutes or so. What about favorite horror games?
Ooh, favorite horror games. This was a topic I wanted to talk about because we really didn't get to go into the PewDiePie stuff that much.
Yeah.
But, I really got into Let's Play because of PewDiePie and watching his it's hilarious. Like, just this Swedish guy screaming for his life playing Amnesia. And one of the things that he did as well was he played a lot of like horror RPG Maker games.
Yes, we were going to talk about that. Indie horror, like RPG Maker games. Yes.
And like, you wouldn't think, when you think about like RPG Maker, you wouldn't really think it's like, oh, this is going to be the medium that can tell like some really scary, really creepy stories. But like, he played this game, Mad Father, and that game was genuinely like really, really creepy.
Yeah, it's got a really fucked up premise. It's good though.
Or like, I know, there's something about like indie game developers, because a lot of this like is developed from, what's that game called? Mother. What's it called? Mother?
Yes,
Mother. So a lot of that inspiration, the inspiration that came out from that game is just like, it's huge. Like, because it created this kind of weird RPG imagination that people didn't really think that could be a thing. But then it opened up this world of storytelling. I mean, obviously Undertale is inspired by it, but all this like different kinds of storytelling with indie horror is so fucking good. Also, like when Doki Doki Literature Club became a thing, it blew my mind because I was like, they're doing something super unique I've never seen before. It got me excited. And that's the thing with these RPG Maker games. Like, as kind of crappy as they kind of look, sometimes play, it's just like you get really invested in the story. And also a thing with these kind of RPG games is because they're a little bit lower quality. You kind of put the imagination with your brain. So a lot of your brain does the imagination of what these characters look like and how they interact while this text is scrolling by.
It fills in the gaps.
Like Yume Nikki. We were talking about that the other day.
Fucking love Yume Nikki. Yume Nikki is just like, again, one of those like perfect like kind of horror games, but it's not really horror too. It's just like kind of unsettling. And like the way that it's trying to tell, like it, because Yume Nikki, the whole point of it is just supposed to like kind of describe depression, like anxiety, going through a psychosis, because it's about a woman who refuses to leave her room. And so you go kind of like this fantasy realm that tells you the story of, I believe her name is actually Nikki. I think that's the actual character's name, right? It's Yume Nikki.
It's Madotsuki. It's Madotsuki.
Yeah. Madotsuki. Yes. Sorry, been a minute. But you get to like learn her character through just the imagery alone, and like the story has to tell, and you fill in the pieces, and it's just. It's a piece of art. It's not even like a video game. It's a piece of fucking art. And
you can really see the inspiration for things like Undertale that come directly from it.
Yeah. I think there's really something to say about like the fact that you can, like, despite the medium, that you can transform something like that's RPG Maker into something that's like really genuinely terrifying. Because if a book can do it, why can't you do it with a visual novel as well? And like you have some added benefit there too with the visuals. But I think you're right with the sense that it's like it's so stripped down in a lot of places that it gives your brain the ability to fill in the gaps and make it terrifying for yourself. And I've only ran into like one or two kind of games that are that sort of like play style that I actually found terrifying, but I need to play more of them. I haven't played enough because I think the first one I played gave me such a bad taste in my mouth. I think the game was called Claire, although that's like a side scroller.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. And then I think I played what was that first one? It's like the giant fucking blue or the purple guys.
Oh, yeah.
Al-Oni. Yeah, Al-Oni. I was going to bring
Al-Oni. Although like I liked it. I actually really liked it. Like it's not amazing, but it's like it's decent. And I can see how it kind of like really started something.
Well, what I love about Ao Oni is that it completely throws a lot of your typical expectations in an RPG out the window. Like, for instance, there's a part of the game where if you go into your menu and you leave your menu, it'll be right there and scares the crap out of you and you lose. And it's just like, there's like different situations where if you do traditional things that you would normally in an RPG, you just lose.
Yeah.
And you can't trust like other characters. It's
or like another thing with like the visual novel aspect of it. I know like mine and Gator, some of our favorite, games technically, but also anime is Higurashi no Naku ni, and then Umineko no Naku ni, which are like they're whodunit novels essentially. They're
murder mysteries mixed with psychological horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then you have like Doki Doki, who kind of takes that, but like amps that up even to like a next level too, where it's like she actually has like she can look through your computer and actually talk to you like you're there, and then there's hints of what's happening. What is their name? The people making it, Project something. Gosh.
Oh yeah, I forgot the name.
Oh man, it's that named after the guy creating it, but there's a whole other story that they're trying to tell with this, and it's about reality bending, shape shifting. I think that that guy who does like who's the guy who does like the Friday night that Freddy fingered.
Oh, Freddy Fazbear, the fucking.
No, I'm talking about the guy who does like the nerd science thing, and he's got a really annoying whiny voice.
Oh god!
He measures Luigi's penis from time to time.
Oh, game theory, MatPat.
MatPat.
Oh yeah.
MatPat. Yeah. Videos explaining it too. Which I mean, there are good videos, but like, just MatPat is such a ridiculous person.
He's an exceptional individual.
He's I think the man is like an actual fucking sociopath or some shit. What was that? He did like immediately. Like it was fucking like year 2020, the month of like March, and he did a fucking video called
Who would survive coronavirus?
which video game character would survive coronavirus? It's like, Matt, there's people dying. And he's just like, I think it's Mario because of his mustache. It would filter out a lot of the virus. It's just like, you're a mental case. Like, stop. So he has to stop this fucking mad bastard. I found out he has like something like 6 alt accounts that are all theory based. And there was like food theory. And I found food theory and I literally almost fucking threw my monitor. I was so mad. Like,
are McDonald's cheeseburgers really made out of people? Do 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 do.
Yeah. Oh, fuck it, man. That fucking scramble brain fucking lunatic. It's like when the Coney 2012 shit happened, and like the guy who started it was found stark naked on Hollywood Boulevard screaming about iPhones and like punching the cement and shit. I feel like that's gonna be MatPat in like 2 years from now. He's just gonna be found wandering the streets naked and like screaming about Luigi.
My favorite MatPat story, though, is speaking of Undertales, when he gave Pope a copy of Undertale.
How do you? He's like, gave him a flash drive. He probably doesn't even have a fucking PC. He's like, okay.
This barely alive old man trying to teach the word of Jesus Christ, and he's just like, here, take this Undertale. Don't look up Undertale. You might come across like thousands of furry porn images, but
Yeah.
I can't believe he handed the Pope a flash drive with Undertale on it.
Yeah.
Nothing but Undertale. And a JPEG of Sans handing him weed. And that was all that was on the thumb drive. Jesus fucking Christ, he's mental. Like, I've never seen a human being not be able to read the room better. Like, yeah, his fucking editor committed suicide, and he did like an apology upload video the next day or some weird shit. Yeah, did you not see that? It's like he did a fucking like eulogy to his friend, but it got really weird about halfway through because he started talking about like it was like he was doing damage control. He was like, I can't imagine that his pain had anything to do with working with me.
What?
It's like,
Oh,
It's like,
oh
dude,
my God.
like, why? It's like, first off, you shouldn't be making this. Like, you should have done like a twit longer and then left it. No, he did a crying, like sits down in front of camera, sighs. I'm in a really dark place right now, guys. Like video. It was like the next day after he died. Yeah. I don't know why. Losing the battle.
Wait, are you trying to say your friend lost a battle like it's a goddamn video game?
Yeah, he didn't get enough coins. He got hit by Eggman, he lost all his rings, and now he's dead.
Look at all those tags.
I didn't give him a chili dog fast enough. Now my friend and editor is dead.
Wait, you gotta look at those tags too. Digressing and side questing. Game theorist announcement. Update.
What the fuck? He put this on a video that's about like whom I assume is his personal friend. Gotta get ready for that E3. Gotta get ready for the fucking like you have to tag everything. Like, oh, I filmed this with a Sony A7S. I better tag that in the video where I talk about my friend committing suicide.
Oh,
He's an alien. He's a fucking alien. He's a reptoid.
fuck. So this is the lizard people Alex Jones told me about.
Jesus Christ. No, he's not even real. He's a simulation. I don't.
That's the 12th layer of the game theory, that MatPat doesn't actually exist. He's a figment of our imaginations, projected from the 12th dimension.
This is real horror. We want to talk about scary stuff this whole time. The fact that MatPat is just a lizard person that doesn't have any real emotions working his editor to death is the real scary situation.
But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory.
Oh my god, imagine if there's like a creepypasta. It's like his editor's working. He's like, I've never actually seen MatPat's face now that I think about it. And he goes to the office room and there's like no security that day. And he walks in and it's just a big towering PC. And it's like, you shouldn't be here in his voice. And it's like, and then he got offed. He got like Hillary Clinton'd. And like, and then he's talking about, it's like, my editor lost the battle, guys. And like, everything we ever see of him is just a digital fucking print.
He's either just like connected to the computer, like he's like this weird like can't describe figure that's melted together with the fucking computer, or if he's like Mr. House from Fallout New Vegas, like he is the computer.
It's a fucking brain in a jar or some shit there. He's like, I silence my empathy inhibitors so that I can become a better YouTuber. It's like he uploads like 50 different theory videos on all 5 of his channels. Oh, I have to make an apology video for my dead editor. Fucking Christ. Mental case. I gave the Pope a flash drive with Undertale on it. Fucking lunatic. That is, what? That I think that is honestly at the end of the day the scariest thing is MatPat. Do not let him into your house. Do not let him into your hard drive.
He's a vampire.
Yeah, he's a digital vampire.
He's like Ben drowned and a vampire all mixed into one. Don't let him. Don't. If you invite him in, then he just lives. He lives inside you now.
Oh.
The only thing scarier than the actual Five Nights at Freddy's lore is the fact that this man is so fucking obsessed with it. I know what the funniest thing too is, like, the creator Scott, I forget his name.
Scott Cawthon.
Yeah, he kept saying that he's like, you're wrong about the lore. He just kept telling him, he's like, no, that's incorrect. You didn't get it right. And he just kept going. It's like, and he covered Salad Fingers, David Firth. And he tried to cover the lore of Salad Fingers, and David Firth was like, no, dude, you're straight up wrong. That's not what that's not the secret hidden meaning. But he just like keeps going. He just ignores and deflects all like criticism. He just runs with bullshit. His videos literally are just spewing bullshit for
stupid
toddlers
on fucking, like, here's the thing. If I was a 12-year-old, I'd be like, oh, MatPat's my favorite. He's so cool. But, as a grown-ass woman, I think that he's just a clout-chasing retard that is basically, like, he does nothing but work. Like, he just does nothing but work and tries to, like, make videos for stupid babies that can't think for themselves, and just does stupid shit like Luigi's penis actual size.
Oh my god. We're gonna actually mathematically measure Samus's breast. Like, please stop. He's a theater kid dropout. Like, no wonder he's just like.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah, he is. His no wonder his videos are just nothing but like attention seeking. Sorry, MatPat, but it's true.
That
I hope he doesn't. I hope
so much sense.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't see this and calls me out like Dunkey did.
Wait, Dunkey called you out?
Yeah, he did.
That's amazing.
Dunkey put me in his best. Yeah, Dunkey put me in his best of 2019 video because I called his like Death Stranding review shit for like 40 minutes. I like broke it down like scene by scene. I was like, this is like factually wrong. I don't think Dunkey knows how to play this video game. It's like, it's really bad. And he like put my face in his video 3 times, and his audience like harassed me for a year straight.
The only time I think I've ever gotten like fucking so frustrated with YouTube comments beyond belief was dealing with video game Dunkey's videos or video audience, because they're so fucking retarded. Like, they are incredibly retarded. Like, they're like, because like it was me, Necro, and Dimitri Monroe were just like reviewing his what was it? That fucking what was that game with looks like Ellen Page as the main character, has zombie characters, and she's like a stinky lesbian, and they kill off. Fuck. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Me too. I know. It's like, I fucking know it.
Gator, what is it?
Last of Us 2, right?
Yes,
Last of Us
2. Yes. And so Dunkey was like, everyone's stupid but me. Or this game is not that bad, actually. And then we broke down
if you
his
don't like
review.
this game, you're an idiot, essentially is what he said.
Yeah. Well, he's just a smug asshole, and he's not really funny. So there's that. And because he's got this really like quick videos, and he's smug, and he just has enough editing to where brainless retards can watch it for like a couple minutes and feel smarter and better than everyone else. He has like the worst accumulated audience of all time. And because we were talking about, why Dunkey was wrong, the most that these retards could come up with is like, oh my god, how could you talk about this 12-minute video for like an hour? That's so stupid. How can you stretch that out? It's like, that's how fucking discussions work, you fucking idiots.
I literally ask people, it's like, should my video be shorter than his? Like, I don't understand. How's that even physically fucking possible? It's like, there's so much shit to sift through and talk about that it is longer. Yeah, it's way longer than like his video.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite things that happened. Was this tweet manifesting Sora and Smash primarily because it might just make video game Dunkey so mad he immediately dies.
He gets heart attacks.
He's blatantly said that he hates like RPGs, and then he reviews them. It's like, and he has the most like, this was boring like takes. It like his analysis of it is like, this is boring and dumb, and I didn't like it. It's like, thumbs up, great. It's not for you. It really, you even said that yourself. It's like, clearly. So why review it?
It's just like, if you find the video game mechanics grindy and boring, that's fine. But then you're going to be like, this is the main point of contention why this game's bad. And it's like, why? That's like playing like a DDR game and be like, I have to press the buttons up and down, left and right over and over again. That's boring. And it's like, that's the game mechanics. That's the whole point of the fucking game, you fucking
It's called Dance Dance Revolution, not sit on your ass and look at the screen revolution.
Just sit on your ass and fart. Yeah, and listen to games.
Oh, God, bug dancing mechanics. Oh, God.
It's
IGN tier. It's IGN tier.
The thing that made me like finally like hit the unsubscribe button of Video Game Dunkey was, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's one of his newer videos where all he doesn't have any commentary over it, but he takes other game reviewers and they compare one game to another, and they're like, this game reminds me of this game. And they're like, well, this game also reminds me of this game. Just to like be, I guess, like a point of contention when people compare two games together into one game that makes him a really weak, stupid reviewer. I don't know what his point was, but it came off as like arrogant and stupid. Like, it's like, motherfucker, people do that all the time, where they take inspiration from one thing and combine it with another. You're not fucking like a high IQ individual just because you pointed it out that video game reviewers do it. Stupid fat retard. Fuck him. Fuck Video Game Dunkey. Such a fucking smug asshole.
I really used to like him too, and it's like I was
so smug. Like, smugness is honestly the ugliest characteristic that people can ever like present themselves, especially on the internet. And it's because he takes himself as like, oh, I'm a comedian, guys. You can't take what I say seriously, and if you get mad, you're stupid for it because I'm a comedian now.
That constant defense of like his audience will just constantly go, it's like, no, you don't get it. It was a joke. It was satire. That's what they said about his like Death Stranding review. They're like, Mark, you're an idiot. You missed it. That was satire. I'm like, so what is he satirizing? They're like, it's a joke. I'm like, no. You said it was satire. And even if it's a joke, like, what is he satirizing? Like bad
the
game
joke,
reviews?
Motherfucker. There is none.
Yeah, like it's like, and he put it under his like serious game reviews like playlist. And he doesn't seem to be like taking the piss. He seems like he's genuinely frustrated with the game. But if you look at his gameplay, he's just like ignoring the tutorial. It's Cuphead. It's like the Cuphead like tutorial piece.
You know what?
Where the guy's not reading the screen and he like fucks up and goes, "Oh my god, this game's horrible."
You know what? I heard someone compare Video Game Dunkey to Game Journos now, because that's how much he's deteriorated with his content. You know what? I believe it. He's like, because he's so like hungry to get out videos, and he has to play so many video games. Just skip the tutorial and forget about the game mechanics, and just pitch a bitch for about 10 minutes, if not lesser. And that's a Video Game Dunkey review.
It makes me want to do this less and less. Yeah. I hate that that's where it went. I actually had no idea he was ever going to respond to me because I'm like so small. And like, it was just, I think we watched his video live on my Twitch, and then I just ranted for about like an hour, trimmed it down to about like 40 or 50 minutes or something. And then like people were like, oh, you should upload it. Like that would actually make for a pretty like funny video. And I did. And then it was just like, a week later, like Dunkey himself is like jumping on me and shit. I'm like, oh wow, oh no.
I mean,
like,
that just tells you how insecure he actually is. I mean, like he's an insecure person that acts really smug to shadow his insecurity, and that's most smug people. It's just they're insecure people. I think he knows his content isn't that good. Like people on Reddit probably fucking love it, but the actual like quality of his content isn't very good. He's not good at video games, and he's pretty lazy.
I think you should stick to the comedy stuff, even if like it's not for everybody. That's his strong suit. That's really his strong suit.
Yeah.
But the serious sit down review stuff it's not quite there. I don't review shit because I don't think I'm good enough, really. Like I have opinions and stuff, but I would never say like here's a concrete. Like the most I ever review is like I'll watch a movie and then I put like the poster and the final score on Twitter, and that's it. I don't even elaborate.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's what the semblance of what I thought of this movie, and I just leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most of what I do when I like talk about like reviewing or whatever is I just talk about what I like or what I didn't like.
Yeah.
And usually I do that on Twitter because it's like, could I really make like a 10-minute video just talking about what I liked about this and what I didn't like about this? Probably not. And well, at least now I have a podcast where I can, take like a little 5-minute segment and be like, this is why I like Vivi Fluorite's Eyes song, which is a recurring theme because it was like one of the best visually just stunning animes of the previous season. I've brought it up in just about every episode thus far. That's how much of an impact it had. Not horror though.
Oh shit,
I guess technically maybe.
We should end on another spooky thing right before I go. Think of something spooky.
Spiders are icky. I hate the way they sound when they crunch.
God, I hate them. Genocide them. I just get rid of them. Breed them out of existence.
Mosquitoes are worse in my opinion. Those are actual hell spawns. Oh, and also wasps. Fuck them.
Ugh. That's a thing that I've seen in horror manga that kind of tie it back is some weird obsession with like bug people. I've noticed. Like I think I read like a horror manga and I can't remember the goddamn name, but there was like somebody turns into like a human fucking wasp or some shit, and it was fucking horrifying. But like it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like it wasn't like a really big wasp. I mean, like the top of they're wearing a funny hat and like said that they got some sort of head injury. And then when it was revealed, when like the hat came off, there was like a giant kind of pulsating like wasp stinger under his like for a head. And like it extended out and like plugged itself into other people's like heads and shit. And it was just like so like fucking disgusting and unnerving. And like everything about it, I hated it. But like I've noticed like Japan loves that sort of like bug fusion. There's like, yeah, Junji Ito, he did Slug Girl, which is a really good manga. Shit like that.
Well, like again, I always bring about to H.P. Lovecraft because he's just like the best horror writer ever. There's something about like bugs.
He was good at naming cats too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Junji Ito draws pretty neat looking cats too. Even when they're like their whole like that's another thing that's really like nice about Junji Ito is like he does wholesome manga too. Like he does what's about like loving your cat and like a nice family wholesome. It's still like his creepy style, so it doesn't feel wholesome, but it's still like it's wholesome. Like it's it's
so good.
But there's something about body horror. I don't really care for it, but like it's really prevalent because it is so like disgusting and like weird and creepy.
Yeah, I think especially Junji Ito, he sort of scratches that itch, like especially like he's got his finger on the pulse for what's really unsettling and what's really unnerving. And I don't know where like how can a person like sort of develop that, and like how can they learn that? I think like the closest thing he had to like, apparently he started out as a surgeon. He was like studying to become like a surgeon doctor, and he did dissections, and he did even dissections on like human cadavers and stuff. And he ended up dropping out and then becoming like a mangaka artist. I think that's how it's pronounced. And that's I don't know, that's fucking crazy. And that's also why like the anatomy is so like weirdly accurate in his manga and stuff. And I've seen there's a really good short film segment of him. It's like a day in the life of him, and it's just him drawing for a comic, and he goes through all these references, and he has like he has a literal like human anatomy book next to him that he references, but it's like every organ, every bone in the body like pulled out, and he's referencing that and then drawing it. And it's like one of his earliest works was Dissection Girl, and it really shows that he's just kind of writing from what he knows and stuff. And like that manga is really fucked up. It's just about this girl who like is obsessed with being cut open, and she like pretends to be dead and then puts herself on a slab so that like unsuspecting up and coming doctors will like cut her open without knowing that she's still alive. It's just like absolutely fucked. But you can see him like the early days like drawing from what he knows, and then he like expanded, and then he got into like fucking weird Lovecraft shit.
Mm-hmm.
The enigma of Amigara Fault, which is, you know, known by all of the memes. This hole was made for me, and dur.
Fucking hell. It's so good. I think that might have been like the first thing that I read by him.
It was definitely the first I read.
Yeah. It fucked me up. Holy shit.
Just that last panel where you see the thing coming out.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I know, it's nightmare fuel.
He's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I love the meme on Twitter of like Junji Ito's art, and it's just like like horrid depression and stuff, and it's like Junji Ito, he's just like this happy guy who's he's fucking dabbing and nay-naying and shit, and he's like looking up cat videos and smiling.
And then there's Hayao Miyazaki, who's just like,
it's like this, these beautiful, like, happy little films, and Hayao Miyazaki was just like, the human race was a fucking mistake. Every day I wake up makes me sad.
Oh god.
Same thing that goes with people with the Hello Kitty profile pics. They're fucking monsters, every single one of them.
Yeah.
That's how you know that they're a sociopath, is the Hello Kitty just staring at you.
More
blankly.
specifically, the melody, My Melody and Kurumi. I think that's her name. Like the one that looks like My Melody, but with like the black cape. Like the black and pink characters. That's how you know they're actual fucking BPD horror fucking bitches. Cut your fucking dick off.
Yeah.
And
fucking
eat
cat.
it. We haven't mentioned Death Note like at all this entire time. I'm a little surprised. That Death Note is. We watched the terrible Netflix version for like bonus content, and it killed our soul. It made us laugh a lot, but it killed our souls a little bit.
More specifically, like the last third was just like them falling off a Ferris wheel was just with like 80s like what was it called, like melody music, like it was. We felt like the director wanted to make his like 80s movie, 80s horror, weird sex comedy, teen comedy thing, but he never got around to it. So, or even like detective movie, but he just used Death Note as his medium to do that. It's why there was so much 80s music.
I'm not a fan of that director.
It's pretty trash. From what have you seen?
I'm forgetting his name right off the top of my head. Maybe I'll look it up. But he did the Blair Witch remake or sequel thing, the recent one from like 2017 or whatever. Adam Wingard, that's it. Yeah, Adam Wingard is not good. And if actually to tie it back, he actually directed one of the tapes for VHS. It didn't make the cut from my re-edit.
Wow.
It's bad. It's like it's so bad it's funny premise, where because again they have to come up with the excuse it's found footage somehow, and this is a guy gets an experimental robo eye put in his head, and everything you're seeing is a recording, but he said because of his robot eye he can now see dead people and they're coming for him, and then it's like that really could be scary. But then all of a sudden this random like goth chick shows up at his house and has sex with him, and she's like, yeah, I have the same thing as you, but I can hear the ghosts, and she dies immediately. And she was just there to show titties and shove them in this like the camera's like lens. I'm not even fucking kidding. And then it just ends with him dying because the ghosts get too close to him and he freaks out and like shoots himself in the face. And the guy's played by Adam Wingard. Like the first person view character is Adam Wingard himself. And it's like, oh man, you did it. Death Note, the Blair Witch Project sequel.
He did
whatever
that monkey versus lizard movie.
Oh yeah, Godzilla versus Kong.
Yes. Yeah, he did. Oh, didn't he? Oh fuck.
Yeah.
I have not seen that.
How is that though? I haven't seen it. I'm a huge Godzilla fan, but that's the one that I just haven't seen, and I haven't rushed to see either. Maybe it's because his name was attached. I think I knew, but
you saw the name, you're just like, oh.
Yeah, no, I think as soon as I found out Adam Wingard was directing, I actually stayed away from the theaters. I hate to say it. Like, I'm sure he's a nice person. It's just he's not a good director. Fucking soy boy light Yagami. Good job, good choice. Who gets outsmarted by the girl.
We were saying how the guy, the Naked Brothers band, the actual Naked Brother, should be a voice actor because his screams are really good. And he knows how to over like for like cartoons and stuff. And if, like, look, if you're a Naked Brothers band former character actor and you do like animated stuff, people in cons would love you. Like, people would love that shit, especially if you did like the crappy Netflix or Death Note. People would love that shit. So he could become a fucking animated voice actor, and you get like some clout from that.
Yeah. Oh God. I think that's my time. I think I got to cut out.
It's perfect.
I got many important.
Right at 2 hours.
Yes, absolutely. We did it. Everybody clap.
Yay!
We
Congratulations.
did it.
We didn't have a 4-hour monstrosity like we did last. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you, Marquesian.
Yeah.
Of the After Darkness for coming on and enjoying some Spookyween with us. Because I don't know, I really like Halloween. It's my favorite holiday.
If you couldn't tell by our name, Spooky Weep Trash.
Yeah. I do like Christmas, but Halloween has a special place in my little dark goth heart. So
yeah, I'm team Halloween. It's my favorite time of year. I'm dressing up as Torgo from Manos the Hands of Fate.
Manos the Hands of Fate.
I'm dressing up as me being carried by Pepe. And a frog costume.
That's really good. What are you dressing up as, Gator?
I actually haven't decided on my costume yet. I've got a couple ideas rolling around in that brain of mine.
That small, frail lizard brain of yours.
Small, frail lizard brain.
Like eyeball.
Somewhere in the recesses.
But yeah, thank you for coming on, and happy Halloween if this gets out in time. Yeah. Happy Halloween.
Yeah. It should, because I'm going to
happy Halloween, everybody. Yay. Happy Halloween, everybody. Have a good one, and definitely eat the apples that look like they have razor blades. I'm Mark English. When you turn out the lights, I'll be in the dark of your corner of your room. I'll be there, always watching.
Okay, Santa. Mark is just Santa.
I'm just skinny Santa.
Yeah.
With your pants down to your ankles.
Filming with a little recorder.
That's my uncle. Oh no!
All right. Good night, everybody.
Jesus,
See you in the next episode.
Good night, everybody.